The fairness of a slot machine game. The fairness, when we look at the slot machine games online, the hope is that they don't turn them off when people play them. That they would just allow the slot machines to be played by a consumer with the odds built in those online slot machines. So the wins and losses that are part of the game, and not when they just turn everything off and people get 5 cents, 10 cents, no wins, no wins, no wins, 5 cents, 10 cents, crickets, 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 no wins, no wins, no wins. That means no wins. You're just pressing the spin button and getting crickets. You're hearing crickets, but it's not a win. So it's like a metaphor of just like, it just is nothing happening. It just no win, and you're losing your money. For example, with the example given before, if 20 million people just lost $10 because the casinos turned off the slot machine games, that's, of course, if they lost $1, it would be $20 million, but it's just $10. So now we're multiplying 5 times 20 is 100. So that means it's 100 million plus another 100, 200 million. So this is people losing, for example, if they just only lost $10, that means they put $10 in a game, they played, and it was turned off completely. And they lost the whole $10. So that's $200 million lost. Stolen, not even lost, stolen from a consumer. But what if it was $100? What if on an average it was $100? And it was 20 million people that lost that $100. They put it in and the game was completely turned off. And so what happens, they lost the whole $100. It would just give them no wins. It would give them just 5 cents, 10 cents, and then no wins, until the balance ran out and they lost the money. And it was a result not of the game itself, but because a human being turned it off. The worker of the casino just turned it off because they want to steal your money. So in the sense that, think about it, if it was $100, multiply, so 200 million, multiply that by 10. Isn't that $2 billion? For example, so if you think about it, $2 billion just stolen from people because the game was turned off. In all logical sense, we have to understand this. If this turned off, you're putting money to play a game, to experience playing a game, to experience the wins and losses, the odds of the game that are in that game. But if somebody comes in and completely turns it off so that you will not win anything at all, and as a result, $2 billion are taken away from people, from consumers, stolen from them. When you compare a contractor walking away with $1,000 that you gave them to fix the roof and just driving away because they just want to take it and not do nothing for you. People know it's a crime, and they're trying to go after that contractor. It'll be on the news everywhere, right? It'll be, well, not everywhere. It'll be even on the news sometimes. The contractor did this to a consumer. They'll talk about it. It's a big crime, right? And of course, it's wrong. But this is $1,000. This contractor just cheated somebody of $1,000. Compare that to $2 billion. $2 billion stolen from people because the online casinos, turned off the games for them, for that $100 that they put in. And then that could have been just within a day, within one day only. Within one day, if 20 million people put $100, try to win something, and everything was turned off, and they thought they were playing, they thought they were experiencing a game, but it was actually turned off. That means it was stolen. That money was stolen from them. Now, if it was turned on, and they were winning and losing, that's different. And sometimes some of them might have lost. That's understandable. That's part of the game. So we have to understand when we're putting money into a game to play a game, we're supposed to be given that experience of playing that game. That means you win some, you lose some. But if the person comes in and completely turns it off, and as a result you lose all of your money, that's not playing a game. That's your money being stolen from you. And this is so huge amounts of money. And the hope is that when the government allows casinos like that to function, it would be nice if they can supervise them so that they will not turn off those games for consumers. That's like, everything would be common sense. The same as it's wrong for a contractor to drive away with $1,000 down payment to fixing a roof. It will be a crime, and technically you stole that money from the person that he promised to fix something. The person got nothing in return. But another example would be printing so many lottery tickets. These like 500 lottery tickets, a roll of them, and with no wins. Like each ticket has no wins, and selling them for $100, not $100, for $10, for $20, for $30. For $40. I guess it could be. I don't know what's the highest amount. Sometimes it's $50, but let's say it's $10 or something, or $5. But it's like, or any amount that can be out there. But just selling them, and each one of them, there's nothing in it. They're all fake. Of course, if they find that person, then, and they find out about it, it's a crime, right? And people understand it's wrong to do that. You're selling a ticket that has nothing in it. And it's not just a few, all of them are. That's considered something that's wrong. But even that, you can't compare it to an example of $2 billion stolen from people because the casinos just felt like turning off the game on that particular day for those particular hours that the 20 million people, that's the population is 300 million, right? 20 million out of that population decided to play and decided to put $100 and just see what happens. And the casinos just turned everything off on them. And now they stole this money and gave them nothing in return. So that's supposed to be looked at as stealing from people. And the government, you would think, should have something set up where they can be supervised so that they would not just steal billions of dollars from people. It's just common sense logic. You hope that it can be supervised. And it can be supervised so they would not go in there and turn everything off for any time. But the idea is the games themselves designed with the wins and losses, they're supposed to have that already built in. You're not supposed to be turning them off, because every time a person turns them off because another person is playing, they're stealing money. It's just stealing. It's because they're not giving anything in return. You're supposed to be given an experience to play the wins and the losses. The same, if you look at the lottery system, the lottery scratch-off tickets, there's odds in the scratch-off tickets. When people have 500 lottery tickets, some of them have wins and some of them don't have wins. And that's understandable. When you buy a lottery ticket, you're paying for an experience also, right? You're paying, your ticket might have a win or it might not have a win. But that's understandable. But if each of those tickets, the whole roll of them, it was 1,000 of them or 500 of them, and each one of them is printed and there's no wins in each one of them, and they're sold to people, that's looked at as a crime. You can't be selling fake tickets and scamming people, right? It's just common sense logic of it. So that's supposed to be applied the same way to the online casinos. If they turn off the games, they should not be allowed to turn them off. They cannot turn them off. It's a crime because every time they turn them off, you're paying money and you're getting absolutely nothing in return. But they're just taking the money away from you and giving you nothing in return. So it's supposed to be looked at as the same as a contractor taking a person's money and not doing nothing in return. And of course, the consumer can get an attorney and, of course, try to get the money back that way. And people understand it's the wrong thing to do. But it's just, you would think that when it comes to billions of dollars, wouldn't there'll be some kind of system set up where they can be supervised, where nobody will go in and turn off the game. It's like if the government is allowing casinos to function, that's one thing, but they need to be supervised. Otherwise, they'll just be stealing billions of dollars from consumers, and people will think they're just playing a game. It's part of the game, but it's not, because the game is turned off and it's set up where your money is taken away from you and you're getting nothing. Now, if it was turned on and you would have wins and losses, that's different. That's different. And some will lose, some will win. That's understandable. That's part of the game. It depends, right? I mean, it has to be set up in a way that you're paying for something and you're experiencing as you're playing the game. I mean, usually if they are turned on, you would stay in the game for a longer period of time, and you would usually have some wins. They might not be really big wins, but usually they would be reasonable. They would be reasonable. I mean, once in a while they might not be wins, but there's this balance. There's wins and losses. It's not like when everybody's playing and everybody's losing because somebody pressed the button and turned it off, where it's just taking money and not giving you anything. It's just one of those things. You have to look at it as a game can be designed with wins and losses, with the odds. With the odds the same as a lottery ticket has the odds. One lottery ticket has a win of a certain amount. The other one has less or more. Some don't have anything. It's part of the game. It's true. And it's different. It's different, but at the same time, if each one of them, the whole stack of 500 of them or 1,000 of them, they're all printed with nothing in them, it's an example of turning off a game. You're selling something, you're taking money for it, but there's nothing in return. It's nothing. So it's like selling fake tickets, taking money for yourself and giving nothing in return. People understand that it's wrong, and usually it doesn't happen as much. But it's like something like that is really understood by everybody that it's wrong. Well, the same thing is if the casino is turning it off for everybody and just taking their money that way and not giving them nothing in return. Those odds of wins and losses are not there if the game is turned off. It's the same as giving a bunch of tickets with no wins in them and taking your money. It's the same as a contractor taking your money and giving you nothing in return and just driving away. It's just the same thing. And the hope is that the government, when they allow the casinos to function, to have something set up where they are supervised to a point where they cannot turn off the games. But the games themselves can be designed, obviously, with wins and losses. And it's different when the game gives you wins and losses. It's something different. It's part of the game, obviously. But if it's turned off, it's like basically selling fake tickets or just taking money and not offering anything in return. And it's really stealing, and it's wrong, and it's wrong, and it's looked at as a crime. It's basically stealing. It goes back to the commandment, thou shalt not steal. How much, when people break that commandment, thou shalt not steal, how much other people can be hurt by it? How much people can hurt? I mean, that's quite a lot of money when, taken away from a consumer. The consumer's thinking they're playing a game when they're not really, because it's turned off. And, and just because it's turned off in a way where it just gives you 5 cents, 10 cents, and nothing, so they can just take that whole balance away, and then you run out of money, and there goes your money. But it happened because they turned off the game, and not because of the game itself, giving the wins and losses. It's one of those things. It's so crucial. I mean, I'm just hoping that, they can be supervised so that they will not turn the game off. Then it becomes fair. Then it becomes just like the lottery tickets. Some will give you a win, some will not. But for a fact that the odds are there, and that there'll be wins in it. So I mean that's the fairness of the game itself. And it's so I just hope that they could be regulated that way. Because it's definitely necessary, I think, just because of the fairness. It's just wrong to steal. It's just wrong to take away so much money from all these people. As an example, I'm just but it's a biblical example also. Thou shalt not steal. It's so crucial. I hope that, it'll come to be that it'll be fair. It'll be always fair. They will always be turned on. I mean, there's wins and losses, of course, and sometimes you might not win, but it cannot be set up where it's just completely turned off by a person, and then you lose everything as a result of it. If it's a game itself and gives you wins and losses, and you lose sometimes, that's totally different. That's the same as buying a lottery ticket, scratching it off, and not getting a win from time to time. And, it's understandable. But even the tickets themselves, if you think about it, that's a different topic too. But the odds, sometimes, they say there's one win in 5. So it makes me sometimes wonder about the odds of a lottery ticket. So if you buy 5, does that mean that you're going to win 1? I was always wondering about that. That's a different question there, a different topic, but it is kind of interesting when it comes to lottery tickets. But at least, even if it's not 1 in 5, they might say it's 1 in 5, but sometimes you buy 7, and the 7th one gives you a win and not 1 in 5. And it makes you wonder, wasn't that supposed to be 1 in 5? And that's a different topic, but at the same time, just to cover it a little bit, for the lottery tickets, the scratch-off lottery tickets, it's sometimes you think, wouldn't there supposed to be a win, even if it's just $2 or $1 or something? But wouldn't it has to be some kind of win? If they're saying the odds are 1 win in 5, you think if they say 1 in 5, doesn't that mean if you buy 5 tickets, there has to be at least 1 win? Now, of course, it could be a small win, but isn't it supposed to be? But from time to time, sometimes you might buy 5 and there's no wins. Then you buy like 2 more and there's a win in one of those 2. And sometimes it turns out to be 1 in 7 instead of 1 in 5, but they're saying it's 1 in 5. So then, I know it's a different topic there, but it's another thing I'm hoping, you think that it would be nice if they're saying 1 in 5, it'd be nice to have 1 in 5, right? To have at least whatever it would be, even if it's a free ticket. But it'd be nice to see, a win, just like they're saying 1 in 5. Or if it's different, if it's 1 in 7, it'd be nice if you get all 7, if you buy 7, to see a win. Even if it's a free ticket only. But at least it's what they're saying it is. Usually it's that way, but from time to time, sometimes you might buy 5 and they say 1 in 5, there's no wins in that 5, in those 5. And then, but if you buy like 7 or 8, then you might get those 1 win or 2 wins. And it makes you think, well, but it's a different topic. But it's just, I don't know, it makes you wonder sometimes. It makes you wonder when it comes to that. It would be nice if they're saying that 1 in 5, that means if you buy 5 tickets together, based on the odds, right? I don't know how they explain it. I don't know if they explain that sometimes, even though it's the odds, but there's no guarantee, and they might look at it that way. It's a little different, but it makes me wonder sometimes. I always look at it as, if they're saying 1 in 5, it would be nice to see any kind of win, 1 in 5. That means if you get 5 in a row, based on what they're saying, there's supposed to be a win in that 5, even if it's just a free ticket, even if it's just $1, but it's supposed to be there because they're saying it. But it's a little different topic there. Anyways, this is Markov saying, God bless everyone. I'm hoping they can definitely fix it when it comes to the online casinos, so it'll be really fair. When it comes to the odds of the lottery tickets, it's a little. I mean, it's one of those questionable things, but we'll see what happens with that. I guess hopefully it will be 1 in 5.